All right, good afternoon and welcome to the conversation right here on Quest Television. I am Praise Soje. And this afternoon, we'll be taking a look at the issue of zoning and one-term presidency in Nigeria. The battle over zoning and the growing agitation for a one-term presidency have once again exposed the deep cracks within Nigeria's political architecture as parties and power blocks reposition ahead of the 2027 elections, which is no longer far away. What began as a strategy to balance power among regions has now evolved into a fierce context of trust, equity, and political survival. Across the country, the debate is no longer about who becomes the president, but which region should produce the next leader, how long such a leader should remain in office, and whether political agreements still hold, value in Nigeria's fragile democratic system. Supporters of zoning argue that power rotation remains the only practical mechanism for preserving national unity in a complex nation like Nigeria, where a lot of philosophical ideas, a lot of regional philosophies, religious lines here and there. So the confusion still remains about who will be leader in Nigeria. This afternoon on the conversation, we'll be asking a very critical question. Should leadership in Nigeria be determined by competence and electoral strength alone, or must regional balance remain the foundation for sustaining peace and national cohesion? Well, as we progress in the course of our conversation, we will try to answer this all-important question. My guest this afternoon is Mr. Isiche Ogochukwu, a political analyst and a public affairs analyst as well. Good afternoon, Mr. Isiche.
Yeah, good afternoon. How are you doing?
Yeah, doing great. And of course, we are at a very critical junction in Nigeria where the conversation is heating up as we build up to the 2027 election. We have on one side, we're talking about zoning, and on the other side, we're talking about one-term presidency. But let's start from a general point of view. What do you make of the Nigerian state?
Nigerian state, being a multilingual, multicultural, and a multi-religious country, cannot do without zoning. We have people of different cultural background. We have people of different language. We have people of different religious background that were forced to become one by the UK, by our colonial masters. So, to be able to accommodate our various beliefs, our various political views, our various representatives in a democracy, there must be zoning. Although zoning, like every other social science concept, has its merits and demerits. Like zoning has made it possible that somebody who is not supposed to be president, who doesn't have the intellectual capacity, sorry to say, our former president Buhari, his 8 years was almost like a minor. He was not in the system compared to other presidents. You understand? Zoning has made it possible that such persons were found in the corridors of power. Where in a Nigerian state, where very sound, educated allies, educated citizens are there to have worked better.
So you hold the position that Nigeria cannot do without zoning?
Yes. That's the only way each of these zones, each of these districts will feel represented.
Right now, let me ask some foundational questions here. Has zoning strengthened Nigeria's unity, or it has further deepened our ethnic and regional divisions?
I think compared to the military rule in those days, I think it has further raised our political consciousness more. Yes, you might see it as a division. No, that it has raised more of our political consciousness. The need to capture power, the need to remain in power, the need to represent the interest of my people. It has brought out the political consciousness in every region. That's why you see that everybody's hustling power. Everybody wants to be represented at any community wants to be represented, want to be seen at any given political circle. So to some extent, zoning has raised our political consciousness. Like I said earlier, although it has its demerits.
But when you weigh the merits and the demerits, which has the higher stake?
I feel is the merits. Because to be able to be one, to remain one, when we are not of different language, different culture, different belief, different way of life, one's interest must be represented. That's why we have this office, even in the states, in the federal and state civil service, we have what we call, it's not zoning, it's not called zoning, it's called Ministry of, when they are recruiting,
I think they call it, some people call it federal character.
Character, exactly. Federal Character Commission. That's what I wanted to remember. Federal Character Commission in the state service also represents zoning in the political sector because of the nature of Nigerians' diversity in unity, in our unity. So we must represent our various interests.
So if you look at Nigeria from the military days until now, as zoning, as leadership gone round, you know, there are people who hold the position, who hold the view that there is a certain region called the southeastern region in Nigeria who are marginalized, and hence we've seen agitations. For instance, Biafra. We all know what happened to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu a few months back, and so many controversies. Has zoning really worked in Nigeria? Has it gone round the 6 geopolitical zones to the extent that people are saying, oh, when you look at Nigeria, yes, no one is left out in the sharing of power?
I think to some extent, yes, because all zones will not have presidency at the same time. The Southeast you are quoting had Anyim from Ebonyi State as their Senate president, the third tier of government. It had one in Werem too. So they've gotten power. It's not as if they've not gotten power, but they still feel marginalized because of the outcome of the civil war. That mentality is still on them. That yes, we need freedom. We need to be on our own. But is it possible? It's not. And even if it's possible, is it by becoming hostile, by killing your people, by becoming criminally minded, by forming a group that fights government? That Mazi and IPOB concept has failed on arrival because of its approach. Nnamdi Kanu should follow, as exposed and educated that I know he is, he would have followed the legal procedure to fight for the interests of his people, not through criminality, not through killing government officials that you see in your area. That's where he failed. You don't commit crime.
But there have been no record that he actually killed anyone. It's just the agitation, and there are people who have, gone to the extreme because of that agitation.
That's the concept extreme. Extreme is, somebody like this former NAFDAC boss, the husband was killed in the Southeast by, they called it unknown gunmen. They call them unknown gunmen. But investigation from the security agents shows that they are still IPOB boys. The insecurity in the Southeast is majorly caused by the IPOB.
So you say that Nnamdi Kanu did not control the concept of IPOB well?
Exactly. He did not handle it properly as he ought to. He is not supposed to use the legal procedure to fight for the interests of your people.
Would he have gotten it if he went through the legal procedure?
Yes, using the UNEO body.
Would Nigeria have divided into two? And Biafra actualized if Mazen and Kado went through the proper channel?
Yes, through the legal means, involving the international organizations. That yes, they fought the civil war for many years ago now. So they have a right if they decide to go. They have it. I'm from Delta State, I'm a Delta Igbo. So I'm part of the Biafra. I'm part of the Biafra, although I don't support that concept of IPOB. But I don't believe that, I believe that Nigeria should be one. If Nigeria can do well as one, it's about the mindset. It's about the leadership. The problem of Nigeria has always been bad leadership, not division.
Wow, interesting. Now, still on this issue of zoning, when you look at zoning today and look at Nigeria, is zoning still relevant in modern Nigerian democracy? Or has it become outdated because of the political alignment and alliances and arrangement here and there? Is zoning still relevant when you put it side by side with the kind of democracy that we practice today in Nigeria?
Yes, zoning, we practice a representative government. Democracy according to Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah, in 1863.
Yes, there is a government by the people, for the people, but a government where you are represented. So in a multilingual country, a multicultural country like Nigeria, a multi-religious country like Nigeria, we can't do without zoning. Yes, I agree with you that to some extent zoning might have its negative impact, like every other social science concept and analysis. It might have its negative impact, but in Nigeria, Nigerian democracy cannot survive without proper representation of all the units, senatorial districts, and other units of the country. There is no way Nigeria, because once any region feels marginalized, they start fighting. That's what has brought about the IPOB and the Mazen and Bekano issue. They are feeling marginalized because they've not been given presidency. But there are some other states, other regions in the north too, that has not gotten presidency. The Northeast has not gotten presidency. So going the criminal way, do you know how many people that have died because of this IPOB issue? If you meet the security agents and they give you statistics, you will be happy with Nnamdi Kanu.
Okay, let's look at zoning and politics in Nigeria. Last week, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, former Vice President of Nigeria, said it's a political miscalculation if the opposition parties in Nigeria zone to the south, that the incumbent president is from the south, that the only way to unseating in 2027 is to zone to the north. What do you make of that statement?
Atiku Abubakar has always been an inconsistent politician. He has been contesting for presidency since the time of
MK Abiola.
MK Abiola, when one of his child that is now in the House of Rep was a baby when he started contesting, and he has been failing. So he always has reasons to justify his actions. He has been decamping from one party to another. From PDP, he left PDP under Jonathan and went to APC. When APC did not give him his presidential target, he went back to PDP. Now that he didn't get what he wanted because of Wikeism.
He's an ambitious man.
He's a desperate man. There's a difference between being ambitious and being desperate.
What was the difference?
The difference is you and I might have ambition to be this. You won't go to extreme, breaking your principles, your values, just to get it. You understand? You won't become too agitated about it. It will come if God says it will. If if God say it won't, I think it's made in life.
Does God wills who become the president of this
No.
country?
Actually, what I'm saying that if it does not come to you, that's what I actually meant. Although I believe in the supremacy of God, I'm a Christian.
Okay.
I believe in the supremacy of God. If God does not want you to be president,
we have been praying so many times in this country, and the nation is still suffering.
Well,
God has not helped us to resolve that.
Are you sure?
Well, look at what is happening.
Is our bad leadership?
I'm a journalist and I'm speaking from the position of fact. Yeah. I understand your position when you say you believe in the supremacy of God. But when you look at, I don't want us to deviate, but just that line actually caught my attention. When I look at this as a journalist and I see that there are so many things going wrong in this country, is it God?
No, you can't say it's God.
Good. So let's talk about
you can't say it's God, but bad leadership.
Okay.
You understand? When in the Bible, they said when the righteous are on throne, the people rejoice. Those on throne now are not the righteous. They are not righteous. That's why we are the insecurity problem, economic problem. We are feeling so many problems in this country. But I feel that with time, God will make a change. I still have that faith. So let's go back to the article. I see article as a very desperate politician that wants to be president at all costs. Otherwise, I don't see why he should be contesting again. I don't see why.
It is his constitutional right to contest.
Yes, nobody is denying that. But you have contested for over 30 years.
And then because,
and you keep failing.
Did the Constitution say when you contest 4, 5 times, 6 times, and you didn't get it, but you still have more time to contest, do not contest again?
No. But
so why is everyone labeling him desperate and hypocritical?
Do you know that this is ambition? Atiku's ambition to be president has destroyed PDP as a party. You know the history of himself and Wike and Okowa, how their various personal interests killed PDP. Now, he went to meet Peter Obi and Kwankwaso in ADC. Atiku's ambition too has made Obi and Kwankwaso decamp from ADC to NDC.
You know that Peter Obi's own is a different, it's a different conversation because they have still accused Obi of being desperate too, not staying to fight.
Obi is somebody Obi is a movement. Obi is not just a party. It's not just an individual, Obi is a movement. The day Obi decamped to NDC, 17 federal lawmakers decamped with him. So Obi is just looking for a platform. The majority of Nigerians believe and know that Obi is somebody that if given the opportunity, he will do well.
What is that assurance?
Let me give you one assurance why people believe in Obi. Obi came out and told even Buhari then. He said, investigate me. Tell your EFCC to investigate me.
Does investigation justify that someone is competent enough? Because you might have good intentions, but you don't have the capacity to lead.
But if he can handle Anambra State then as a governor, you know the situation of Anambra State under Mbadenuju.
Yes.
If he can bring out Anambra State from its dungeon, and today at least, you can say, yes, Anambra is working. I believe he can. And if he can, he has convinced us, he has given us reason. Staying in power for 8 years, and yet coming out to boast that search me if you have any evidence of corruption, jail me. How many of our politicians can say that? How many of the Atikus? How many of the Okowas? How many of our both federal and state politicians can come out to say, do me, if you see evidence against me, jail me? Just like Peter Obi has said. He has given us reason to follow him. And sincerely, APC has investigated him to the extent that his house in London, they said it was stolen from that. But when he brought out the documents that he used in buying it, he bought it in the 80s. So this guy has given us reason to, he's one of the politicians that have given us reasons to believe in him. Peter is an exceptional politician, but it's just that Nigerian system as it is. He won't even be given the opportunity because if he enters, many people will not eat again. Many hallelujah boys, political hallelujah boys, will not even be able to feed themselves because we have professional politicians instead of politics in America. Obama is a practicing lawyer as well as a politician. When your tenure expires, you go back to your practice. You understand? But in Nigeria, we do it as if it's a career. It's not supposed to be so. You should have a working business so that you won't see it as an opportunity to loot. Let me loot one and eat for the next 20 years. No. When you have a working business, when you have something you are doing, you won't see politics as a job, as a career. That's what we have in Nigeria. That's why things are like this.
Well, I want us to watch this. The NDC has zoned to the south, to the southern Nigeria, and as of today, as we speak, Mr. Peter Obi will be the presidential flag bearer. All things being equal for the National Nigerian Democratic Congress, with his vice president as Rabiu Kwankwaso. But something actually caught the attention of Nigerians when the NDC zoned the presidential ticket to the south. I want us to take a listen and watch this.
The leading opposition political party, the Nigerian Democratic Congress, recognizes that opposition politics must go beyond mere criticism for political convenience. True opposition must provide ideas, direction, accountability, and credible alternatives for national progress. The NDC therefore commits itself to issue-based politics, constructive engagement, people-oriented governance, and the restoration of public confidence in leadership. Few months ago, I'm sure they ignored NDC. I'm sure they laughed at NDC. But they cannot ignore or laugh now. But they are attacking. And when they attack, according to Mahatma Gandhi, then you win. Then we win. The work starts today. The work in ensuring that we chase out all these people who are making our country, others who agreed that you can forge certificates, others who agreed that doing the wrong thing is right. They are the people who want to chase out. Fear, with a great sense of unity and solidarity, that as a loyal party member, I support the decision to zone the presidential ticket of the NDC to the south.
All right, so that was just a few weeks back when Mr. Peter Obi and Rabiu Kwankwaso moved to the NDC, and ever since that move happened, it seemed to cause a lot of shake-up within the Nigerian political landscape. But I want us to pick from what Sarah K. Dixon said, that before Obi and the Kwankwaso came into the party, the NDC was perceived in a certain light. But now that they are there, people now, when you look at the NDC, how tough is it as a party? How structured is it as a party? How competent is it as a party to mount a real challenge in 2027?
Like I said earlier, the organic support that Obi enjoys will give NDC the boost. Peter Obi has an organic support from both South and West, while Kwankwaso has an organic support from the North.
But his support is just Kano. It doesn't spread to the Northeast, to the North Central.
Why do you feel like it's only Kano?
I mean, he put over 1 million votes in Kano in 2023.
Yes.
And plus, catchments there, here and there. So, what is his strength in the south,
have you heard,
southwest.
Have you heard about the Kwankwasia group?
Yes, I have.
Kwankwasia group spreads across the whole north. Yes, we will say that the last election should not be used as a test case because, you know, it was marred with irregularities. Like in Lagos State, it was Obi that cleared Lagos State. But the result came out and they said it's Tinubu that won. In Abuja, the law says at least the president must have up to 25% in Abuja. But Obi cleared Abuja. And yet the law was manipulated and Tinubu was made president. So that's why you won't say, you won't assess him based on that last election of 1 million votes. Use his group. He has an organic support in the north. The Kwankwasia group. He cut across every area. Castina, Sokoto, every area in the... When what election did he contest? And they were questioning and they now went to, all the group now went to Abuja High Court. Abuja High Court was it Abuja High Court or House of Rep? I don't know the venue, but they had where all the Kwankwasia group came. The guy has a very strong support base. That's the truth.
And you think that support base can help the prospects of NDC?
Yes, if the election is free and fair. If the elections is not manipulated, Obi and Kwankwasia.
So you see them as a perfect match? As
a very perfect match in terms of winning the election, if it is free and fair. But you know the system. You know the system more than I do.
Let's talk about one-term presidency. Obi said, "Give me 4 years and I will stabilize Nigeria." And the political maths to read is that the South still has a deficit of 4 years. That is why you see people like Obi, even, I don't know whether the PDP is confusing us or not. They're trying to bring in former President Goodluck Jonathan, you know, and then you now have Makinde declaring to run for presidency. Yeah. You have a Rotimi Amechi as well, declaring to run for presidency. And he even said, "I'm not in the ADC to be a vice president." But let's start from one-term presidency. Is it a realistic thing for anybody who wants to rule Nigeria? Can anyone who wants to rule Nigeria say, "Give me 4 years and I will stabilize this country"?
It depends on what you see as stabilize. Obi is an economist. He read philosophy in his days in university, and I went to this London University of Economy where he read economics. Obi is an economist. When he says he will stabilize Nigeria, what I understand is our economy. I know Obi will do very well in terms of stabilizing our economy. The naira-dollar discrepancy, the fuel increment and other areas. I know. The only area I feel he might not be very strong at is our security. That is where Kwankwaso, who has I think he has a military background. Yeah. He was a minister for defense. So that's the area Kwankwaso will step in. So I see the match doing very well. That's the truth. But if they are allowed, because he who pays the piper dictates the tune. So, and Tinubu is not like he's not a gentleman like Jonathan who will say, "Yes, my presidency is not worth the blood of any Nigerian." Tinubu that we know will say, "Declare me," whatever it takes. So we pray. See, our major problem in this country is bad leadership. So we pray that God brings leaders that will do well.